Friends, today we are here to discuss your second chapter on the course book of English 2, that is Ode to Autumn. The first chapter, Shoemaker, has already been given a synopsis and the worksheet which has been followed. This is the second chapter. So, Ode to Autumn by John Keats. Now, John Keats was a very famous English romantic poet, and Ode to Autumn is a celebration about the season of autumn. Okay, so before we begin, let us know what is the meaning of ode. So, ode is a form of lyrical poetry generally meant to be sung and usually which is written in varied or irregular meters. Okay, the sound pattern for the verses. Now, in this poem, we have three stanzas. Now, we shall do it in the form of a synopsis or summary wise. The purple colored words which are there, you shall learn it and write it by your own. And along that, when I explain, you can tally it while reading. Okay. So, in this poem, the poet John Keats describes the season of autumn, and the ode is an address to the season. So it is the season of the mist, and in the season, fruits are ripened on the collaboration with the sun. And the words which are chosen are very matured enough to understand that with the fruits with ripeness to the core, to swell the gourd, the plum, the hazel shells, with a sweet kernel, and later for the bees, for summer has overbrimmed the clammy cells. So it is abundant in the form of visual imagery. We can see that the collaboration with the sun has helped the fruits to ripen to the core. All right. So next, autumn joins the maturing sun to load the vine with grapes, to ripen the apples, and also at the same time we can see that it has been personified as a person who is sitting on a threshing floor or sound asleep in a green field with poppies. All right. So sometimes autumn is also personified. It has been shown as someone who is, here it is a gleaner. Okay, here it's a gleaner. We find that in the second stanza that it is carrying a load of grain across a brook or watching the juice oozing from a cider press. All right. So here autumn has been personified generally. So in the third stanza, what do we see? That it has the sound of autumn has its same music, a music which will help you to revive, to help you to think that okay, these are the activities which autumn does. Okay, it revives some kind of music. And what are they? Maybe it is the wailing of the gnats, it is the bleating of the lambs, the singing of the hedge crickets, the whistling of the robin breasts. So here in the entire poem, what do we see? That autumn is personified and is perceived in a state of activity. All right. Now, one very important aspect of the poem is that we need to know about the figures of speech. So the first figure of speech here which is there is imagery. So the use of imagery, what does it help? It helps to make the readers visualize the writer's feelings and emotions. All right. So visual imagery is that what we can see. For example, we can see the mossed cottage trees, granary floor. We can imagine. All right. So it gives the perception of sight, smell, etc. The next we can come across is rhetorical question, that is, which is often used to make a point and not receive an answer. For example, we have, where are the songs of spring? We have this in the poem, the question that we don't wait for the answer, right? Next is symbolism. So to use symbols in order to give words symbolic meaning which is different from its literal meaning. For example, autumn here symbolizes maybe a woman, the sun stands for a male, gathering, swallow symbolizes the end of autumn, something like that. Okay. Next is simile. So simile, we know that it is a figure of speech which is used to compare an object, animal, or a person with another one to make its meaning clear, right? So here one example is, sometimes like a gleaner thou dost sleep. So here the poet compares autumn to a farm worker, a gleaner, right? And as I told you, one of the most important aspects of this poem is personification. So personification, the definition has been given in page number 16. Please do follow that. Here it is that autumn is personified as someone sitting on a granary floor. Sometimes it is having its own music. Sometimes it is seen that it is a close friend of the sun. So we can see that it has been personified in various ways. All right. So this in short is the explanation of the poem. The rest of the exercises will follow in the form of worksheets which will be provided later on. Thank you.